How's it going, Gabriele? Thanks for joining.
Very good, very good. It's a pleasure to be here.
Because XR and AI together, it's such a new concept. I'm curious, like when you meet somebody new and they ask, "What do you do?" How do you respond? What do you say your work is?
Oh, that's that's gonna be very tough to explain, and I think for many other people. And I know that this might not sound very specific, but I would like to define myself a bit as a tech ambassador. So what it means is that whenever this technology and people wants to talk about them, right, and share it either with, for example, users, consumers, but maybe potential clients, you always need a way to tell a story around these technologies, right? How they works in a way that is appealing to that specific audience.
I like Tech Ambassador. I like it a lot because it means that you are optimistic and you champion this tech. You think the tech changes the world for better, it improves the world.
Exactly. And also what I would say is that it's also about doing it with a sense of knowledge about what is really happening. Because the other point is that in order to be an ambassador, right? I do really feel that you need to understand, you need to live that, right? And are willing and open to share, okay, this works, this doesn't work. But the first step is really to understand what this technology can do.
Can you tell me what is this? What are we looking at here?
So this is, I think, one of the great example of this technology all merging together, because there are so many parts. So you see that I have composited this scene using another tool, but it all starts with the 3D asset creation, right? So with this generative AI tool, with Meshy, for example, you can create these 3D models, and it's not just about the creation of the model, but you can also correct them, right? So you, for example, retextures part of it. That again, I think is still mind blowing.
It is
Correct if there are some.
mind blowing. And just quickly, one thing with AI I've noticed almost every day I say that word like, oh my God, this is mind blowing. And then tomorrow there's something else that's mind blowing. Crazy. But anyway, yeah, continue. I just wanted to just marvel at how fast this technology is growing.
It's insane, and that's a problem. But we can discuss about that problem later.
Let's discuss that because I don't know if it's a
Yeah.
problem, but let's discuss that after.
Yeah. So the you can correct it, then you can, of course, using the same tool, you can even rig it. So you have these characters that now can move. You can add a standard animation, for example, from Mixamo. You put it on, and I've got this animation of this robot that was kind of like hesitating. The broader point is like, how do you tell a story about this, right? And that's always what intrigues me. Like, okay, the tech is cool, but what's the story behind this clip that can last 1.5 minutes? Okay, I found the animation. Oh, yeah, this robot has lost his head. Great. So I put a head on the side. And so that's again, we are going from 3D asset creation that you generate with AI, you put it in AR, then you use another AI layer to bake the lighting on top. You just need to have a story around it, right? Because otherwise, text without it is just not
And
interesting. And
just
that's
five
what you see.
years ago, this would have taken weeks.
And it's not just the time. It's not just the time. We go back to what I was saying. It is about having the capabilities to do it because you need to have the people that are capable of doing it that spend that time. Now, it's not even that. It's
Yeah.
about hours maximum
Yeah.
and someone that honestly, the only thing I've done in Blender, just for disclaimer, is splitting the head from the body. That's it. There is no other Blender or 3D tools in here. So this is another tool, and it's called Vist. Actually, I also had an interview with the founder of Vist, Andrew McHugh. So if you were interested in what you're seeing right now, you should check it on the podcast. Uh, in this case, what you can do is that just using an iPhone, you can, or an Apple Vision Pro as well, you can record footage and then you can play it as a 3D memory in your space,
Whoa.
right? Now, what you can do is that this memory can then be played on your phone. So as a sort of like augmented reality memory that you can position anywhere you want. Or you can even play it in headset. So that means that either on an Apple Vision Pro or a Quest 3, you can then position that memory in space.
This is something I remember watching in the movie RoboCop, for example. I
Yeah,
don't
and I
know.
think
Do you
many
know the
people see
scene?
Minority Report. Yes, yes, also Minority Report. A lot of people says, "Oh, this guy is living Minority Report," also
Yeah,
because there was my son in it. There was my son in it, so people immediately made that parallel with
yeah.
Minority Report, but I was not meant. One thing is, since again, the Meta Store and the Apple Store merged together, and now it's very hard to find anything. It's very hard to find stuff. So, and especially now that we're talking about the Meta Quest and mixed reality with the Quest 3, now with the upcoming new headset, if you want to try a new mixed reality app and maybe you want, okay, I want a game, maybe you want a creative app, I want a productivity app, I want something about fitness, it's just impossible to do it. So that's why I compiled this list. It's a list of 200 and I think by now 292 apps that are categorized. If they are free, they are paid, there is a short description so that it's completely searchable. And by subscribing to the newsletter is something that everybody can get directly in your mailbox. And it's a living list. I big plans, let's say, to keep adding WebXR apps or maybe other AI apps or maybe add a rating to that. So because I will need to go there to 290 and start populating with the rating, couple of days maybe of scraping, but that's a bit the idea. And there are different kinds, as you can see in the video, from productivity, puzzle games, maybe adventure, and so on.
Okay, so this is a list of 200 of specially selected XR mixed reality apps that you've specifically compiled. So it's easy to
Yeah,
find.
and you could say it also, it's all the mixed reality apps that I could ever find.
Okay, wow. Moving forward to the future, you mentioned just before this could be a problem, meaning like too many tools, too much creativity. What do you mean by that? What do you mean this could become a problem or this could be a problem?
So I think that um, these can be overused for sure. And it's not just about misused. Misused is bad, and that I don't think that we can disagree about that.
Yep.
And we fine, they can be misused and shouldn't be, but just overused. That
Interesting.
means that right now, let me give you an example.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
checking a post on LinkedIn the other day, and there was a guy, Richard van der Blom. It's you should follow if you are into LinkedIn because he shared very valuable insight about the platform. He says that AI generated comments on people's posts increased over the last month or something like that by 380%. So it means that the internet is getting populated by content that is generated by AI that is impersonal, that is not a support for the creativity. It is just over content, right? And I don't know, over content doesn't mean anything. No, it's more like it is overproduction of stuff that is not curated. There is no love behind it, and it's just done for the sake of the algorithm. Let's say
Did you say no love?
no love.
I like that. Very interesting. So
Because I
over.
mean, at the end, you need to. I mean, I like to think that every piece of stuff that I put on the internet has some sort of love or thought around it, right? That is not just blah, blah, blah. Like, of course, everybody's using. I mean, part of the podcast is also edited with AI, right? Because it makes it faster. I mean, some of the articles are also used to get inspiration with AI, of course. But there is always love. There is always some thought that goes into it, right? And that's not the case. And many people are using this tool to just spam. Now we are seeing this happening, of course, with text because it's going to be super easy. It's already working, and you can barely understand if a comment was written by an AI or by a human being. Soon, it will happen with video. All those talking heads video, you will not know if someone that is posting it's a human or not. So this means that all these feeds, now we are talking first, will be short form content, right? Because you can easily create those 10, 20, 30, 50 seconds video. At some point, will be long form content when you're going to say 3-4 minutes video with talking heads mixed with AI video. This is not good. I don't think this is good, but I don't have a solution for it. The only thing I can Okay, no, you disagree.
I'm thinking about it. So you're saying overuse might not be a good thing. But I'm guessing if the message is useful, does it matter who it's created by? I guess again, I'm thinking out loud here. I guess what you're saying is overuse meaning so we're relying on it's like when calculators first came out in 1950 or 100 years ago, maybe less. When calculators first came out, all the math teachers said, "Oh, you're going to stop using your brain to calculate 59 times 88." So the same way now, we might be worried that because we have these AI tools, we're going to stop using our brains to create. We're going to over depend on AI. It is a possibility. I do think about that.
Yeah, I think I'm not looking at it from a creative perspective. I'm more looking for who receives this content, right? Regardless, I think you might still keep thinking, right? It's more like me that I am consuming this content, right?
Yeah.
On a platform like, because again, the first things that will be overflooded will be social media because it's the most disposable, it's the fastest form of content. I'm not talking about AAA games, movies, or whatever. No, I'm just talking about social media. It's the first place where this thing is gonna get flooded, right?
Yeah, from the
And so
receiver side, yes, it will get flooded, but I don't think that's a problem for receivers. We're good at ignoring. So if we get flooded, we just ignore. I'm thinking about from the side of the giver.
mm,
If the giver is just sending AI generated text, then the giver, like you said, is no longer learning to connect with themselves, to provide love, to think for themselves and share their own opinions. So the givers are the ones who I think will suffer if you over rely on this tool.
no, I mean, I don't know. Suffering is always relative. Now we're getting a bit philosophical,
We,
but I mean, if you as a giver want to make money, right? Because you want TikTok to see your videos, and the only thing you get, then it's fine that you are not suffering. You are very happy about it because you're just making ton of content with that. So what is suffering? So I'm not sure about that. I still believe that might be. I don't know. I'm not sure how the digital space will look like when when a lot of the stuff we see is just made for the sake of the algorithm. And
sure,
now before it was not possible. Before it was not possible because fully because there was still a limitation of the capabilities of what you could push out,
sure,
right?
sure.
But now instead there is no limitation because you could create 100 clips from this conversation we are having right now, right? So
Yeah.
what right? So what prevents you to then start posting all of that online because then the algorithm favors you? I don't know.
Sure, but wait, we just said earlier it's going to become flooded. The receivers will ignore. The givers only succeed if the message is received, if there's a connection made. But if this is flooded, then the receivers won't get the messages. So I
Okay,
think it all balances out.
let's do this. We're gonna see next year. We're gonna have another conversation. We're
Yes,
gonna see how that evolves. Because honestly, there is nobody's gonna be right. It's certainly only time will tell.
we will have a part two, and then listen. It doesn't even need to be next year because this thing is moving so fast. In 6 months, I think it'll be a completely different landscape again.
Perfect. Perfect. Let's do it. Deal.
Gabriele, thank you so much. It was super fun, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Dan.